Strikes Law initiative. So the current 3 strikes law of California does not require the 3rd strike to be a serious or violent offense. So this means it could be, if already convicted of 2 felonies, the 3rd one could automatically means sentence 25 years to life. So it could be any felony. It could even be stealing a Snickers bar from a gas station because you were a penny short. How many times have you guys been in the situation where you were a penny short at the register and you didn't have a penny, you had to run to the car to go get it? I haven't. I wanted to run with the bag every time, but I didn't. So do you really think a person should be sentenced to life over a petty crime like stealing a candy bar from the gas station? I certainly don't, and this is where Proposition 36 comes in. If enacted, it will eliminate ineffective life sentences currently imposed to non-serious crimes. It would restore the original intent of the 3 strikes law, which is to keep the dangerous criminals behind bars, and it would save California over $100 million a year. According to Daniel Winthrop, a writer for the Orange County Register, the state now spends more than $10 billion a year on prisons, about twice what it spends from the general fund of the University of California and California State University systems combined. And it costs about $50,000 to keep an inmate in prison in the state of California. At the same time, Susan Fan, a reporter of ABC News, states that last year, in 2009, California spent $7,440 per K-12 student. So, in other words, California is spending 7 times as much on each prison inmate as it spends on each K-12 student. Is that really worth it? For instance, our situation as college students not being able to take enough courses due to budget crisis. Our money can be spent on more useful things such as funding schools, fighting crime, and decrease the need for tax increases. State prisons are overly crowded with people with nonviolent charges. If enacted, it will focus to keep the dangerous criminals behind bars. Kelly Duane and Katie Galloway, both writers for the New York Times, stated a study done at Stanford Law School showed that more than 4,000 inmates in California are serving life sentences for nonviolent offenses under the 3 strikes law. We're paying our tax money to people who aren't even a dangerous threat to us. There are more dangerous criminals out on the streets, and yet we're paying the billions to keep the nonviolent ones locked up. Does that even make sense? Let's go ahead and vote yes on Prop 36 so we could put our tax money in better use. As Grover Norquist states, the 3 Strikes Reform Act is tough on crime without being tough on taxpayers. It will put a stop to needlessly wasting hundreds of millions of taxpayers' hard-earned money while protecting people from violent crimes. If enacted, we could get the best of both worlds. It would save us money and keep us safe. Opposers may say otherwise, but if enacted, the punishment will fit the crime. Repeat criminals will get sentenced to life if the 3rd strike is serious and violent. Repeat offenders will get double the non-serious crimes will get double the ordinary sentence. And any defendant who has been convicted of crimes such as rape, murder, or child molestation will get prison to life regardless of the 3rd strike. So ultimately, every criminal will serve his or her time and at the same time save the state of California money. And under the current law, California is being forced by the Supreme Court to release prisoners early, and dangerous criminals are being released, and the least costliest and least dangerous criminals are left behind bars. This is big government at its worst. If you want to change it, vote yes on Prop 36.
Joe, when you're ready.
All right, then. Well, thank you. I'd like to talk to you about what Proposition 36 really is. It's a proposition built around weakening our criminal defense. It's here to make it so when somebody has when they've been convicted of their 3rd felony. This is not people getting tried for or thinking about. No, they have to be convicted of not only their 1st, not 2nd, but 3rd felony. And a felony is far more than a misdemeanor. This is something that has seriously affected somebody's life. This is something that somebody has done something to truly harm or injure somebody in some way. And these are people that I don't necessarily want walking around the streets for me. Do any of you have any good, your best friend, your best felon, You know, do any of your good friends, do any of your good friends have their favorite rape or murder story? No? None of you? I'm not really surprised by that because you're all normal members of society trying to progress everything to be in a positive way. But these are people who have seriously harmed others, and I don't really want them walking around on my streets. An ABC News report has quoted Mike Reynolds, the person who originally made the law. He has said that it dumbs down the most effective defense we've had against criminals in California. And I find it ridiculous how difficult it is to find sources on, or fair sources on this proposition. If you look in the media, everywhere from the LA Times to the New York Times will give you ridiculous examples. I actually found an article in the New York Times where they were quoting about the average person stealing pizza and going to jail for life for that. That's ridiculous. That's not what this is about. That's not what people are being fined for. These are not the people that we're worried about. Most of these people are heartless criminals that belong where they are. And without this, there is less of a penalty and less for them to worry about. We need this in order to keep everybody where they belong. We need the productive members of society out here. And this not only wants to make it more difficult to put people away that deserve to be in jail, it's also going to release thousands of inmates that have been on their third strike. And it's going to free them back into society, giving them their fourth strike. According to the official voter's guide, some of these people will be released without supervision. I find that absolutely ridiculous. And if some people try to worry you about the cost, I want you to consider the fact that you might be paying a little bit together as a state now, but how would you feel if one of these felons moved in next to you and forced you to buy a new security system, or a bigger fence, or possibly a brand new car once they take it over to their friend's place? And it's important for you to know why you need to vote no on Proposition 37. Thank you.